All right. If you are a frustrated Stoke City fan, welcome. You're in good company. This is 20 minutes of Stoke City chat. We've got Liam and Carl to run over the Watford and Middlesbrough results. The biggest question we're asking them both is, under Mark Robins, it's now time to evaluate, is it actually much better than what we've seen before? And more importantly than that, is there enough quality in the Stoke side to survive the drop? Plus, we're asking them for a February Player of the Month, and we're also manifesting who we want to see in the playoff final. It won't be Stoke, but which two teams do Stoke City fans want to see there back in May, which you could care less about right now, I'm guessing both of you, because actually, seriously, after that Middlesbrough game, Liam, you must have walked away from that stadium thinking, this is the season we go down, mustn't you?
Yeah, it was one of the most disgraceful Stoke performances I've ever seen in terms of effort. Mark Robins come out and said in his interview for the Watford game that we run more and we covered more distance faster against Middlesbrough than any other game, and it's not true. Your eyes don't lie. There was more effort in the first 15 minutes of the Watford game than there was in the Middlesbrough game. So yeah, it was absolutely shocking.
There was a very negative reaction online, Carl, to the Middlesbrough game, and rightfully so. People pay the money. The attendance for that game also looked bad. I don't know what officially it was because they had the season tickets too. But is that a worry for you? People are now voting with their feet with this Stoke side.
Yeah, it was. I think it was a case. It was on Sky Sports as well. It was freezing cold Tuesday night. There's not much optimism. So I think them combined. But I think a lot left early because, like I say, the performance was an absolute abysmal. So, like Liam said, I find myself saying it pretty much every game, but I think it was one of the worst performances I've seen a Stoke side put out, and there's been a lot to choose from, but that was definitely up there.
Yeah. For the first time as well, I think on sort of Tuesday night, there was criticism for the manager, and I want to get your views on that, if that's okay with you both. Tom says this club is done. Robins, you're all talk and no action. Your constant negative setup and timing of subs for weeks have now becoming an issue. Bristol, Norwich, and Middlesbrough, it was referencing here, it was totally embarrassing. Walters, you've signed an utter load of rubbish, and you should resign and do one. Is it the manager's fault, Liam, or would even the best manager in the world, Guardiola, not get a tune out of this lot?
It's not the manager's fault in the squad that he's got. The team he put out against Middlesbrough, I rushed back 2.5 hours or so from Peterborough. I was working there, parked up, looked at the team, and I just tweeted straight away, wow, because we had the three weakest midfielders we've got. We had a centre back at right back. We had a 19-year-old lad up front on his own. And you're just thinking, you are not helping yourself here. If you're at the bottom of the Championship, get some grit and determination in there, which is what he did against Watford. And even though the quality was down, Stoke fans have got behind it. At the Watford game, the atmosphere was miles better because they saw somebody putting a tackle or two in, which is it's a minimum requirement your football team should be doing. Look, he's got his hands tied behind his back in terms of squad quality. It is really poor. It was my first time watching Al Hamadi live yesterday, and he's quite a handful. If we can keep him and Berger and Ashley Phillips and Johansson fit from now to the end of the season, we might stand a chance with that spine. But we're really stuck at the minute. We've got half a squad of grafters who've got no quality whatsoever, and half a squad of players with quality who just don't want to put it in. Bejano yesterday, up until the 80th minute, was a disgrace. Last 10 minutes, he had a decent chance and he played some decent passes. The first 80 minutes, I've never seen somebody look so uninterested in my life. He gave away the ball, I think, after about 70 minutes, and he's just watching three Stoke players chasing back. He might as well have had his hand in his pocket. So Stoke fans aren't about that, and I don't think many Championship fans are about that, to be fair. But if you do not put it in at Stoke, they will tell you. So yeah, he's not got the best squad to work with, to be honest.
There is some worrying symmetries, as Coventry fans are pointing out. Cheers for that, Carl, that this is exactly how Coventry started this season and ended last season as well. They went 8 games without a win, and Robins couldn't turn that around. And somehow his man management didn't work on that set of players, and worryingly, as a neutral, and obviously I don't want Stoke to go down for personal reasons as well. There seems to be that element kind of occurring here as well, that perhaps he just his successes might have been, as commentary fans alluded to his assistant managers that he's had in the past. What's your take on him? Has he improved you?
There's no real improvement at the minute now. It's strange because you saw the reaction of the players for them 2 games at Shawcross, took charge. The players seemed dead up for it. They were closing the ball down. They were pressing and everything. We just looked really good for them 2 games under Shawcross, and we seem to have gone back to how we were under Palak again. I don't blame Robbins for that. He's got a terrible team to work with. I think it's going to take time, and I've gone past blaming managers now, because you look at the list of managers we've had some reputable names in there, and none of them have been able to get a tune. And I think I've said it a couple of weeks ago, it's gone past being the manager. It's those above. The recruitment has been shambolic. The attitude of some of the players, as Liam's just touched on, some of them just seem like they can't be bothered. I know ultimately that's down to the manager to select a team and to motivate the players. But I just think the squad, yet again, rinse and repeat, needs a massive overhaul. There's not many I'd keep in there at all, because come the season, a lot of them are going to go back because they're loans. I'd keep Junior, I'd keep Victor Johansson. This is if we stay up. I'd keep Olderberger. I'd love to try and get Al Hamidi in. Other than that, everybody else can go for me, because they just do not look interested.
Yeah, that was echoed. Thanks for that, Carl. This is echoed by Robert, who says, "I'm sorry, but anyone blaming the manager is beyond me. How can you look at that squad and still think we can win games is ridiculous. Guardiola couldn't even get a tune out of us. It's all right saying we play negative football, but no one in that team is capable of expansive play." And when you look at your fixtures coming up, Liam, we'll talk about Coventry obviously in a minute, but you've got 2 of the top 7 coming up next. You've still got games against Leeds to play and Burnley to play, so winnable fixtures are starting to run out a bit. How worried are you as a Stoke fan compared to how worried you were this time last season?
Yeah, very worried. The only way Stoke are going to stay up this season is because the teams below them, not because what they are going to do themselves. This team just haven't got it in them whatsoever. Plymouth, Luton, and Derby are our only hope, really. If one of them picks up, because I think Hull will get out of it. I think they've got a pretty good squad. If one of them 3 go on a run, which I think Luton or Plymouth might, we'll be in deep trouble.
Carl, do you agree with that? Have you started to look at, were you starting to hope that Portsmouth might have equalised against Luton, things like that, like the other day?
Yeah. I mean, the Luton picking up a result, like Liam just said, it did worry me, because I thought that's it now. Some teams will get a win behind them and they'll go on and they'll push out of the relegation. We're not capable of that. I'm looking below us now, which you should never do. You should always focus on your own thing and look up rather than down. But I'm looking at the teams that I think are possibly worse than us. And at the minute, with all due respect to them, I think there's only Derby that look worse than us at the moment. So it is very, very worrying.
Yeah, and of course that's the last game of the season, isn't it? When Stoke go to
Pride
Park, winner stays up. Yeah, that is going to be.
Bring Rooney back. Bring Rooney back for Derby. Something like that.
My God. Right. I think we've covered most of the stuff. Oh, we've done that. Yeah, you've already mentioned, haven't you? You've mentioned Al Hamid in the flesh. Yeah, he's a good player, isn't he, Liam?
Yeah, what he reminded me is of a proper Stoke forward that we can get behind, in terms of, I've tweeted before, us Stoke fans are a simple law. Run the channels, try and work past your man, give him a tough time, and everybody will enjoy watching you. And that's all he did. He balls over the top, he chased down, he linked up while he's got a really good first touch on him, which I wasn't expecting. His laying off of the football was really good. So, yeah, he must. I bet he must have torn League Two apart. I know he scored a lot, but you can tell he's definitely Championship level.
Yeah, and then the Watford result. Of course, we've spoken a lot about the Middlesbrough one. That Carl Ollie says, why can't we put that effort and fight into every game? It should be the bare minimum. We lack quality, but we'll make up for it in running, tackling, and fighting. It was miles better against Watford. Still not great, but I'll take the performance. It's right, isn't it, Carl? It should be the bare minimum that any fan expects.
Yeah, bare minimum. And the difference was as the midfield straight away. He's put Pearson and Thompson in there. They've not got a lot of quality, but they're horrible players. They're what you want in a relegation battle. They're a bit like what we used to have in Glen Whelan. They do all the dirty work, the nitty-gritty, the nasty stuff. They run, they put themselves about. I mean, I don't mean be disrespectful for Seko because he's come to a different country. He's still very young, he's still very raw, but you could blow him off the ball. Bejourno's the same. You can just blow on him and they'll go flying. Same with Moran. They're very lightweight, and Kumas is the same. So you just need somebody that's got a bit of toughness about him, a bit of grit, and that's what Thompson and Pearson did for this side. And it was just so much better. Again, a point at home in the position we're in. It's not great, but if you can't win the games, you just make sure you don't lose them.
Okay. Cheers for that, both of you. Well, the last time it feels like we were optimistic about Stoke feels like, Liam, the opening day of the season, following your win against Coventry, which is obviously the opponent that comes on it. Here's Steven Schumacher's team on that particular day, Liam. Would you give your right arm to have that team again?
No, not really. Gibson's out of the team because he deserves to be. Josh Laron has gone on to do for Burnley what I expected to do, whereas if you put him in a good side, he'll be a good player. When the cards were on the table and you needed somebody to step up, he wasn't the guy, and we needed people who will step up, who still haven't now. Gooch on the left wing is a nightmare, so we'll keep him out of it. And Million Manuf, he's got all the quality in the world, but he is the most selfish player I've ever seen on a football pitch. So he needs to learn that it's not the Million Manuf show, in all honesty, because he's driving me absolutely insane.
He needs to learn how to use his other foot as well.
Yeah, to see you comment on that one. Right. Did you give yourself any hope at Coventry then, Carl? I mean, Lampard's on a run, eight now, I think, unbeaten. Into fifth.
Bob Hope, really. That's the only hope we've got. You never know, do you? It's a funny game. I suppose if they're going on a bit of a run, then runs are there to be broken, but we haven't got the quality they've got at all. Frank Lampard's come in there and he's taken over from Robbins and he's just got him going, hasn't he? He's got a decent squad and he's just got him firing. And the form we're in at the moment, I just can't see it, but stranger things have happened.
Okay. All right. Let us know in the comments what you think your score prediction will be then. Now, hardest question of all, we're looking for a February Player of the Month, if we can, that you think deserves some shout out of some sort of praise. Shall I ban you from choosing the goalkeeper? I think we've had Johansson for every single month, so I think we'll take a pass on him this month, if that's all right from you both. Makes it even harder. Liam,
I have slated the guy for about 3 years while he's been at Stoke because he is the best hide and seek player in the world, considering most of the time he's had the captain's armband on. But it's Lewis Baker this month. He's the only one who showed any real attacking intent. And he's carried us through a few games. He went missing in the Borough game, but everyone went missing in the Borough game. So, it's Lewis Baker, I think.
Okay. Carl?
I was going to give it Berger. He's got injured these last 2 games, but I think prior to that, he's started turning his form around and he actually been one of the only midfielders that's been passing the ball forwards and making things happen. And I just think he's improved massively. Sort of got glimpses of what he was similar to last year.
Okay. Good chance. Put yours in the comments below. That'd be great. And finally, this week. Last week you were a little bit mean and relegating some sides you didn't like. So this week we're going to do the reverse and ask you to put 2 sides into the playoff final. Now it's been announced. So 24th of May is when 2 teams will do battle in Wembley to go up to the Premier League. Now, unfortunately, Stoke aren't involved in this conversation. 1 year you might be.
Are we not?
No, I don't think so. No disrespect, Liam, but
No.
yeah. So okay, it's all said and done. You've beaten Derby on the final day to stay up. You don't care less. But which two teams would you like to sit back with an ice cold beer in your hand in a beer garden somewhere at Up Hanley, watching the playoff final on the 24th of May? Liam.
I like seeing things a little bit different than what we have seen, and I feel like we've seen a lot of them teams in the Prem recently. So I think I'd like to see Bristol City. I think they've had enough time simmering around in the Championship because we've had 8 years or 9 years here. So how long have they had in there?
Yeah, 12.
12.
Yeah.
I think it'd be Coventry or Preston.
Okay.
Both teams who haven't been in the Prem for a while. Somebody like that.
It's a good shout. Carl?
I'll go for Sunderland, Bristol for the same reason as Liam. I'm looking at most of them teams, they've all been there. Sunderland, just so we can watch the derby next season with Newcastle and Sunderland, and Bristol, because they haven't been there for a good while.
All right. Decent shouts. Thank you very much, both of you. Right. Good luck then against Coventry. Obviously, they're looking forward to welcoming Mark Robbins back. That's their big thing this week. And we'll catch you two, of course, in 7 days' time to review it all. Thank you very much for joining us, and do drop us a subscribe if you haven't yet done so. We are close. We're over 100, so thank you very much for grabbing that for us. Let's get to 120. That'd be amazing. Thanks very much. See you next week.